Good evening, boys and girls. Good morning, good afternoon, no matter where in the world you might be. We made it to another Friday. Massive game tomorrow. I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record because I'm pretty much saying that every single week ago.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. For those of you listening on replay, thank you so much for joining us. Many of you watching the football tonight are enjoying a Friday evening out, and rightly so. And for those of you who are tuning in via iTunes, Spotify, or Acast on the audio version of the show, welcome, welcome. Squaddies, good evening. I salute you. At ease. Please let me know if you are happy with this evening's sound, my little sound technicians and engineers. As you know, Super Kev isn't here, but he is, because I have all of his Kevin Says questions, all three of them, and they're pretty loaded, so you are going to want to wait around for that for sure. This is why you're here. It's Kevin's show, which I'm presenting this Friday because he is off on a very important mission. Should you choose to accept it, this message will not self-destruct in 10 seconds. Oh, I just got a flash up on my screen that Will Smith has been banned from attending the Oscars for 10 years. Now, Newman, Taib, this evening, you want to behave because you don't want to be banned from attending the Highbury Squad live broadcasts for 10 years. Now do you? There's a bit of gossip and news. I love that. We love to do our pop culture. Right, I have some housekeeping issues, but before I do that, allow me to welcome Abi and Lynn and me, Ammo, Archangel, Priska, Tammy, Craig. I love welcoming each and every one of you. Mark, Soph, even this guy. Why not? Let's give him a warm welcome, shall we? Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Julian, good evening to you. Both, that's me, but Kev will be here. Just 1 second. He's wearing that fiery outfit. Shot all of his videos because he has a super important engagement this evening. Can't be with us. But you guys are going to love his questions. And of course, he's wearing a fantastic Dickie Bow outfit. If you missed it yesterday, you get to see it today. Trash Panda, welcome. Hello, boy. Basically, good evening, everyone. 33 fivers, still waiting for my fivers. Please be sure to hit the like button on the way in. And even if you don't like the show, let us know why. We have not got a glass chin here at Highbury Squad Central. Matty K, welcome. That is a slap in the face. Very nice, Matty K. On your toes this week. The general in the chat. Archangel, Lone Star, and Matty K, the generals. Gooner Russ, good evening, Mr. Gooner Russ. How are you? Newman just searching for love at any opportunity he can get. Okay, here's the scoop. We've got a packed show for you this evening. I do, anyway. And, of course, remember to go visit our friends at Football Prizes. I don't know yet if Jags won the Patrick Vieira and Tony Adams stuff this week, but we will find out soonest. I do also have some news, which I'm going to tease a little bit about tonight, but I'm going to tell you more about when Super Kev is back live on, actually tomorrow after the game. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, we will be here live post-game after Brighton, hopefully celebrating another win that keeps us on our march towards top four. So as you guys know, I've told you I will be in London for a couple of weeks. I leave on the 18th. I'll be there for the Chelsea game, the Manchester United game, and for the West Ham game as well. And Super Kev and I will be getting together, and let's just say that we might be getting together with some of our favourite Arsenal friends for a show somewhere in London. That's all I'm going to say right now. but I would love to see you guys if you're going to be at the Manchester United game at the Emirates on the Saturday. I'll probably be at the Tollington before the game. And actually, early, that's going to be a long day for me. In the morning, I'm going to be live in studio with Natalie Sawyer at TalkSport Breakfast. So I'll be geeing up our lads, I'll be defending the Gunners, and I'll be waving the red and white flag for the Arsenal before that massive game at the Emirates. Fivers are coming soon. You better, come on, deliver, deliver, deliver. So that's going to be exciting. I can't wait to get back home. And then after that, I'm going to see my parents for a little bit in Cyprus, which is going to be lovely. I'm making room right now for my mum's cooking because I'm going to have moussaka, I'm going to have goubebia, I'm going to have kyoftedes, I'm going to have tava, fasolaki, you name it, I'm taramasalataing it. Going to be epic. I'm going to miss Tony, Vinny and Vesper because they're not coming with me, unfortunately. They're going to hold the fort down here. Who knows, maybe they'll do a live show for you on one of my travel days. So that's the news, and we'll get stuck into some football in just a second. So there's something to look forward to there, by the way. So make sure that you guys let me know if you're going to be around. I'd love to say hello if you're going to be at the Tollington on the day of the Manchester United match. That sounds epic. Rumours of Arteta's demise are exaggerated. Matty K, you can buy me a pint. Or is it, do I owe you a pint now? I'm not quite sure. I think you bought me the pint when we met in Huntington Beach. So it's only natural that it's only fair that I buy you one. Lynn, your show is very addictive. I like that. I like creating, that was going to sound weird, addicts. I love that. Well done. Mr. Waffle says he would watch a live show with Vinny and Vespa. Who wouldn't? The darlings of the Highbury squad. There's no doubt about that. Speaking of little Vince, why don't we bring him out? Hit that like button if you love this. And just for Tammy, because she asks me all the time, hit the like button if you love this. Maybe be thankful that Vespa is not in goal and hit that like button for the little Vince. The two of them, my little dynamic duo right there. Okay, so that's that. Now, before we get stuck into some football, proper dog is Vinny, LOL. Very nice, very nice. He appreciates that. Be great to see you at the Tolly. Would love to see you. Definitely going to say hello. Looking forward to mingling and hanging out and giving some hugs out to some special Gooners and some of my favourite people for sure. Speaking of the Tollington, have to play this for you tonight. As you know, Magic Mike is on his wonderful tour of Europe himself. And this evening, he ran into these two fellas, Arsenal DJ Peter and someone who you all recognise and love.
All right, Sophie, Kev, Highbury squad, squaddies, at ease. We're here at the Tolly, having a little bit of fun, having a laugh. We had drinks with Perry earlier, and Mark Shatliff. Now we're with Peter, who's going to play We Are the Champions, and another one bites the dust if we beat Brighton tomorrow after the game.
Let me take the picture.
No, we're good. And it's all good. So, squaddies, hope you have a good night tonight. Hope you enjoy.
You'll be in here, Sophie, soon.
Sophie will be here soon. I've just learned of some stuff that's happening that I might have to come back over for.
Hippodrome.
And I'm gonna be I'm gonna be divorced at that point, so it'll be nice. So ladies, now have fun, guys. Enjoy. Love you, squaddies. Kev, at ease.
Lee Judges almost gave it away, my little teaser from the start of the show. But those boys are at the Tollington enjoying and having fun, so I thought I'd share that with you. I'll buy you a pint at the Tolly. Yes, I like that. Good evening. I reckon Lee Judges lives at the Tolly, probably. Gooner, RUTH, another blimp. Oh, Taib, you're going to get a yellow card tonight. Stop it, because I've got a lot to say to you. Can Vinny play CDM? Yes, of course he can. I do have the picture of the boys with Perry Grove somewhere. I'll dish it out, but this is Magic and Marky, one of our favourites, of course, hanging out. Right, we are 9 minutes into the show. We haven't talked any football yet. I want to play something for you. Hopefully this will work, because before I get stuck into Kev Says and Kev's videos, there's some agenda items that we need to discuss. One in particular is Nuno, that's going to lead into Kev's first question. And of course, the biggest ask from many is he going to start? And obviously he is. So I just want to play this today from Mr. Mikel Arteta's presser. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Here we go.
Play quite a lot in the first part of the season, but obviously when you go to once a week because you don't have European football, it's more difficult to share the minutes because the minutes are less and there are players that they haven't had a lot of chances to play. So it's a great opportunity for them to show what they can do.
That is Mikel Arteta talking about Nuno and Sambi. Let me know what you guys make of that. Arteta, even though can't hear, talks absolute right. Oh, you couldn't hear it. Okay. So basically, he was talking. Let me just read some of the quotes out from Mikel Arteta regarding Nuno. And he said, let me just get these up for you guys from the very top. He says that Nuno has to embrace the challenge. He said that it's a bit ambiguous, but that he's talking about the Thomas Partey injury. Basically, he's saying that the two lads have an opportunity here to step up, Sambi and Nuno. He also talked about Kieran's injury. He goes, our responsibility is to look after players while they're here, but when they go to their national team, that's the job of Scotland. They picked a side to win games. We have good communication with the national team, but these things happen. This was a really interesting press conference, and I wanted to discuss it with all of you because I'm a little bit peeved that there are suggestions that Kieran Tierney's been carrying this injury for a bit, and he was allowed to go and play to what we would call, maybe not to Kieran Tierney, but to us, meaningless friendlies for Scotland. Mikel Arteta went on to say in the press conference he's just had surgery yesterday, so it's very early to understand how everything is going to develop. We don't know what condition he'll be in after this period, but we will estimate it once he'll be out. It's too soon to say how long. The player has to do the maximum he can to be in the best possible condition as quickly as possible, and I'm sure he will do that. Once he does that, let's see if he's ready to compete and whether it will be a risk to play for Scotland. Sky Sports are reporting this in their conversation with Mikel Arteta, and of course the press got to sit with him today before the game against Brighton to ask questions. He was talking about Nuno and said throughout your career you're going to have to go through really difficult moments. He had some really good periods where he arrived at the club and was playing many more minutes than he was probably expecting. This is a development of a young player. You go through ups and downs. We're here to help him to make his career better. He's ready and he's willing. He will be disappointed, but that's part of the job. We make decisions to win football matches, and there's nothing personal there. It's a great opportunity for him to show what he can do. His confidence may have been low because he wasn't playing many minutes and he wasn't at his best. He needs rhythm, the competition, and the understanding with his teammates. We have to help him achieve this, but during a game, you have to decide if something can change the game to make things better. On Monday, we made this decision. We have one of the youngest squads in the league, but the best way is to give them belief. They are prepared to take the challenge. He went on to say, I speak with the players and I speak with Nuno as I care about how they feel. It was a decision that hurt him, obviously, but he understood that it was for the benefit of the team. Now he has to react, and it's an opportunity for him to learn from his career. What do you guys make of these comments? By the way, that's KT, who Nuno is stepping up for, of course. And it's, to me, a shame that KT was allowed to go play for Scotland. I've seen Sir Alex Ferguson was really good at controlling the narrative, and also if players were injured, not allowing them to go on international duty, especially if it was for friendly games. CM says meaningless, let's see, meaningless friendlies at the business end of the season need scrapping. I completely concur with this. This is a massive, massive loss for us. January window, he said, we don't have to justify anything. Arrogant sod. Now, I know this has really incensed a lot of Arsenal fans in terms of his comments regarding the January transfer window. And I felt that was an arrogant comment too. And look, I've actually defended him a lot lately, but been very critical of him since he's taken over as Arsenal manager. I just don't think that's the right approach. You as Arsenal manager, you've got to communicate. And one of the things I think that people have been credited for is, have given him and Edu credit for, is a little bit more of the communication. Now, albeit sometimes I think a lot of Arsenal fans think it's a bit of PR bullshit, but at the same time, at least he's kind of been a little bit more expressive in making us see and understand some of what he's trying to do. But to kind of just say that he doesn't have to justify anything, that's I think that's a little bit of a bit of a stretch from the gaffer, and he did come across as arrogant, and that is the reason why some fans like Craig think it was a disaster not to buy anyone in January. Lynn watched the press conference, and that was correct in my opinion. He shouldn't have been allowed to go. Not a meaningless friendly for him, as he gets to play for his country. That's exactly the caveat I put on that, Virginia, is it's meaningless to us, but it's not meaningless to Kieran Tierney. Tavares is going to have another shocker tomorrow. We need to secure Europa. None of this Champions League nonsense. Thank you. Great Gooner Chapman carrying a knee injury. Why on earth was he allowed to go and play 2 games? Pathetic management, says Nick Score. Mikel should have told Scotland that Kieran was carrying an injury, so please don't play him. Absolute incompetence by the manager once again. Richard agrees with me on that too. So yeah, I just feel like at some point you have to put your foot down. Now, I gave Sir Alex Ferguson as the example. We've seen Trent Alexander-Arnold pull out. I think other players pull out. Is that the experienced managers that put their foot down more and have more of a say and more of that persona to be able to say, you're not taking my player, he needs to stay here? Or is it more of a player power thing where the player's like, no, I can go play, and the manager trusts them? Maybe it's 6-1, half a dozen of the other. Universal Greek says, just when the team and the manager need the fans' support, too many fans have chosen now as the moment to wade in with criticism. Right now, we need togetherness, not negativity. I completely concur. And all week, I've been trying to put a positive spin on the Crystal Palace loss and how we can still move forward. And here to help me continue to keep that positive roll going is my good friend and one of the most, I think, classiest of Arsenal podcasters, Mr. Tom Canton. I asked him, give me one good reason that Arsenal fans should still be happy about.
Hey, Highbury squads, how are we getting on? Positively, we're still really in a top 4 race. It's very difficult to not think positively about this. That's the key. I mean, Man United have won 1 of their last, 6 games? Spurs have lost 8 of their last 17. We've just lost a game. You know, we won our previous 5 away games. The game before this that we lost was on New Year's Day, and yet we're out of it. So the positive is we're well in the top 4 race still, and it's in our hands. So there's loads to be positive about.
So I stand firm with Tom on this. And you guys know that, I mean, I maybe I should have a disclaimer that just says every time, maybe it could be sound activated, where it just comes up and says, Sofa's criticised Mikel Arteta a lot in the past, stood by him where he's deserved this season. And at this point, for me, to kind of be going down this road of ultimate negativity. I was listening to Curtis Shaw earlier today, and I wrote him a couple messages. I don't think he saw them, but he was really having a pop and having a go. And look, I didn't appreciate Mikel Arteta's comment about saying he doesn't have to justify January to anybody. Well, you know what? Arsenal fans pay a lot of money to go to games. We're invested in our team. We love this squad. We're engaged in where it's going. Many of us who didn't believe in you have started to believe in your process and where the team is being taken. And it is important to justify what happened in January, because now we're in a situation where we have injuries and, you know, they're looking to secure Champions League. And you would say, even if we had gone for a couple of loans, maybe we'd be in a better position. However, the caveat to all of that is we only lost one game. And it's the manner in which we lost it that I think is why some people have lost their marbles a little bit this week. If we'd have lost that game 3-2 and we'd have played our socks off and a bad VAR decision would have cost us, or they got a penalty or scored a wonder goal, I don't think there would be this type of meltdown. And we've been through the meltdown, breakdown, rock bottom syndrome before. And that was at the very beginning of the season. I was one of those people, okay? I sat there and I'm like, what is going on? Cannot finish 8th, get us kicked out of Europe and start the season, 3 games, 3 losses, no goals, 0 points. Boop. No. As I said on last night's show at the time, did not have that team that is in existence now. We lost to Crystal Palace against Patrick Vieira and we got taken to school. In fact, they stole our lunch money. And that's why everyone's having a meltdown. Now, if this trend continues against Brighton and Southampton, then full steam ahead, go for it. And I'm not telling you how to feel. All I'm saying is I think we need to rein it in a little bit, because the disaster hasn't ensued just yet. Swedish Gooner says, justify or not, it doesn't matter what he says. Fans would still turn that around against him. Hindsight is a beautiful thing. Good afternoon to you too, Quibena. Thank you so much for joining us. Football Game says, Tierney must know his limits. He must have. This is another thing too. And Football Game, you're right, because he's been injury prone. This is the problem. This is why many fans still think we need another left back. If Nuno's not going to cut it and Tierney's going to continually be injured, then that's a position that we're going to have to address in the summer too, is it not? And that's not because we don't believe in Kieran Tierney. If you cannot rely on him for an entire season, if he's not durable, what are you going to do? I mean, you're Arsenal Football Club. You can't be carrying players at points in the season and then not have the right reinforcements to come in. But we're going to get to Nuno and we're going to play Kev's first video. Just want to get a few more of your comments in. Curtis is hurting right now, and this one loss has a little to do with it. I'm not in the business of wanting to be right. I personally want to be wrong, because if I'm wrong, my team succeeds. And I'm not going to sit here and not credit Arteta when we're in a fight for 4th. We're in 5th on goal difference. We've got the youngest squad in the Premier League. Manchester United are 4 points behind us. Tottenham supposedly have the greatest player on earth, and we're not too far behind Chelsea. We've got some really tough games coming up, but I just don't think now is the moment to have the meltdown. Am I going to be critical of the fact of how the Tierney injury was handled? Yes. And am I going to be critical of the performance against Crystal Palace? 100%. That cannot continue. But this young fella, these guys need us right now. They need us right now. They need us more than ever. And they're going to need our support. Sambi's got to come in for Thomas Partey. Nuno's coming in for Kieran Tierney. Check out these stats a minute. So there's a food delivery that just got here. So just bear with me for 1 second. Digest these for 1 minute. Hold on 1 second. Trust me, you're going to want me to be muted for a minute. Okay, head-to-head, Premier League 2021-22 per 90. Kieran Tierney, goals conceded, 0.9. You can see the stats. Aerial duels, losses of possession, unsuccessful touches is kind of the most glaring stat of all. But look, Nuno is young. Kieran Tierney is seasoned, you know. Nuno's 22 years old, and he's having to come into a situation where he's covering for a beloved player and also a player who's played in the Champions League. Yeah, of course. I mentioned their ages. I'm showing this because it came up today. And I almost think it's unfair to compare them, considering the experience Kieran Tierney has playing in British football, English football, Scottish football. I love dogs too. I think they were having a pop at me saying, "Why are you defending Arteta? Your humble pie is baking in the oven, mummy." But the stats are a little unfair. Do you not agree, considering their experience, where they've played, where they've come from, the amount of games Tierney's played in comparison to Nuno? And regardless of this is what I wanted to kind of say is we've got to get behind Nuno here. You know, we've got to support him. Richard said, no, Curtis knows his stuff. Arteta and the lot are not going to get us fourth. You know, I never thought we were going to get fourth anyway. But now it's like, obviously, the holy grail. And people may not like this, but I've said on the show that I'd be happy with fifth. As long as we get European football, that's the most important thing. This young team, by the way, is not ready for Champions League football. Champions League football, the reason I want Champions League football is because of the transfer market and the type of players we can attract to our squad, to build our squad, to build on Benjamin White, Gabriel, Aaron Ramsdale, Tommy Yasu, Thomas Partey, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Martinelli. If our squad stays as young as it is now and we don't make the investments in the summer and we do make the Champions League, my goodness, those group stages could be pretty horrific. Now, if we don't make Europe at all, you know the business that I'm in on that front. Newman, it is the youngest team in the Premier League, and we're there fighting for fourth. And we're not going to talk about Unai Emery at all. He's still got to play Bayern Munich again. And they're totally different managers, and one has more experience than the other. And you know how I feel about the fact that Arteta got schooled by Emery in the semi-final of Europa League. You can't lose to the man you replaced and get Arsenal kicked out of Europe and not get us back into Europe this season. Those are facts. Well, it's an opinion, but it should be a fact. It's not, you can't do that. You can't end up finishing 6th or 7th. You cannot have this Arsenal team in the European Conference League. No. Tottenham somehow managed to wangle their way out of that stupid competition, and look where they're at now. All right, so let's continue the discussion about Nuno real quick. And let's get stuck into Kev Says. Here we go, video number 1.
Sophie, squaddies, how you doing? I hope you're all well. This is Kev Says without Kev. So I'm just going to ask you the questions and we'll deal with it. I'll deal with you guys after. All right? Have a great show. Question at ease, squaddies. Question number 1. Does Nuno Tavares start versus Brighton? I know he's had a tough time, but does he start? Does the manager show trust in him? The home fans get behind him? Does he start? Question number 1.
All right, let's hand it over to you guys. 70 of you in live chat. Give that like button a hug if you love Kev, and let's hear it. He does look smoking, doesn't he? Polymation says yes, Nuno starts. Terence says no. Lone Wolf says he'd rather put Saka on the left. Cheeky. I'm going to show him this comment. I'm absolutely going to show him that comment. Keep them coming, you guys. Already liked. Thank you, Yo Cool. Yo Cool, you're cool. Thank you so much. Rocky says no, he's not ready. Hugh says Nuno starts for me. Great Gooner says Nuno starts. Manager bought him as the understudy, so needs to back him. Mark says, yes, we have to start Nuno. Los Angeles, dang, Kev's stylish dinner jacket. Our boy has proper style. He certainly does. Newman says, yes, he starts. Galoo says, yes, he does. Demsek, yes, he starts, maybe as part of a back five. Craig says, absolutely not. I believe he's finished at Arsenal and Arteta didn't help. George Georgiou, yasu George, Tiganis, El Pizola, Nagala. Yes, he starts for me. Give the brother a chance, says Archangel. Nick says, nope, because Arteta has destroyed Nuno's confidence. Universal Greek says, yes, he must start. This is his big chance to make the left-back position his own for the rest of the season. Let's see, what else do we have here? Wave, let's get back up here a little bit. Wave says, yes, Nuno starts. Put his situation in context and Jarl will stop overreacting. You know, Gooner Russ says, start Nuno at left wing play, Saka at left back. I suggested Gooner Russ to Kev about Saka because honestly, after the Palace game and him being subbed at Forest and the game that he had at Liverpool, being subbed at half-time at Palace, I said, I can't see a way back for him. How can Arteta trust him? But with that said, Josh and James on last night's show and a lot of the guys in the chat too tonight and last night were saying he's going to have egg on his face. This is the guy that he brought in as the backup. And Universal Greek just said it too. He's got to trust him and put faith in him. That's why Sambi was purchased. That's why Nuno was purchased. These two players are the deputies to Tierney and Partey, or in particular, Sambi, a deputy to someone in the midfield area. And it doesn't look good, does it, on Arteta, on our transfer in the summer, if he completely loses faith. The other thing Kev said, Russ, is that if we put Saka in that left-back position, it takes away from one of our most dangerous offensive weapons. He's top scorer, along with Emile Smith-Rowe. And I get that too. But at the same time, I think the way that he plays, he can still have an impact on the attack and going forward with the way he plays that position. So, yeah, a few months ago, Nuno was being talked about keeping Kieran Tierney out of the team. Exactly. Absolutely. Fluid says, time for Nuno to redeem himself. Big clubs have high standards and little time for sentimental decision. That absolutely. One of the things Arsenal Football Club have been accused of is not being ruthless enough. And here we are in a situation where we have been caught in the most awful part of the season with so much at stake, with not just the two injuries because they're of the recent memory, but Tomiyasu is still out too. And that was just supposed to be 2 or 3 weeks. How long has it been since Tomiyasu's been out now? We've been fortunate that Cedric has performed well in that position. So you would hope now Nuno and Sambi don't have the experience Cedric has, that's for sure. Before he came to Arsenal, he had plenty of good games and one of Southampton's most important players. GB says, I would start Nuno, yet something tells me Arteta is pretty much done with him. I expect Xhaka at left back with Sambi as the 6 and the 2 8s. Now, with so much at stake, this is the part that I feel there's something. The press conference, he backed him because he was asked the question. He's not going to talk about Nuno if he's not asked, right? But it's the obvious question to ask. Of course, Kieran Tierney's out for the rest of the season. He's had surgery. What are you going to do? This, I think, is still on the table. Would not surprise me at all with what GB is saying. 3-5-2's being suggested as well. 5 at the back. Arsenal linked with Greece under 21. I wanted Tsimikas at Arsenal too. Saka left back, or I don't believe this team is aiming for 4th. Tomiyasu gone for the season. Censored. Let's see. Saka is on the right. Saka on the right is not effective as on the left. The thing is, my suggestion after my immediate reaction after the Palace game was start Pepe, put Saka at left back, keep Emile Smith-Rowe on the left, bench Lacazette, start Martinelli down the middle, Odegaard behind them, Sambi and Xhaka in midfield if Partey is going to be injured, and then you have Gabby and, you know, the other players just write themselves at the back, don't they? So yeah, let's keep those comments coming in. Virginia says she has a feeling Xhaka will be sacrificed to play at left back. Who plays in midfield? El Neni and Lokonga? Do you put Holding at the back and put Benjamin White in midfield? Kev was saying there's a possibility like Benjamin White could play right back and Cedric could play left back. All we know from Josh last night is that Brighton have been horrific. Can't score goals, leak goals. Their form has been awful. And this is the game for the taking. This is a game that we cannot afford to not win. A draw's not good enough here. At all. So, and Josh was saying, if we can't win this game, we're in trouble. And he watches a lot of Brighton. So, are we setting them up to fail, Gooner Russ? Are we? I mean, there was a report in the Daily Mirror that Arteta was ready to play Sousa. Kid's 17 years old. Yes, he's an England under 18 international. Scored 2 goals in Premier League 2. But we can't start doing stuff like that. Look what happened to Patino. How's Patino featured since the cup game? Now, he shone in the league game because he was surrounded by all of mostly the first team players. But if we start throwing our young players into the mix at this point in the season, my goodness, I would rather have El Neni. Look, El Neni's not the answer. There's a lot of players in this team still that are not the answer. But El Neni can do a job. He's one of those just do your job players. I'm not sure starting to throw these young players into the mix is a good idea. You know, people talking about Flores as well and stuff like that. Yes, he's got called up to the Mexican national team, but, you know, I just think play Sambi, you know, play Xhaka there. There's other options for left back. There's no need to push Xhaka into that position at all at this point. You know, the sky's not falling yet. We have to be a team that can deal with injuries and we have to be able to move on with them. The reason we have a squad is to trust the players to do their job in their positions and to stop trying to put square pegs in round holes. Keep those comments coming. Be sure to kiss that like button as well if you love Kev's outfit.
Question number 2, squaddies. Does Alexander Lacazette start versus Brighton? Or does he get rested? Which one of the two happens to Lacazette? Start or rested? What's your thoughts? Question number 2 on Kev Says.
You are listening to Kev Says. He's still here, firing his questions away. He's going to address your answers as well on Monday. So if you're listening to this on replay and commenting on YouTube, please be sure to put your comments in that section and Kev will see every single one of them and respond to your comments from there, and also the live chat as well that is happening today. This to me is a fascinating question. We discussed it with Josh and James on the tactical squad last night. Both of them dropped Lacazette. James had Martinelli playing down the middle and Josh had Emil Smith-Rowe playing down the middle. One Love says rest, stick Martinelli in. Kev's outfit is awesome. It certainly is. He's looking... I love it when he records on Dickie Bow Thursday. It's the best. Terence says rested. Archangel says, who else is there? Well, there's Emil Smith-Rowe, there's Martinelli, and dare I say the Nketiah. Excuse me, I got something stuck in my throat there. Yeah. That's where we've left ourselves short in January. that's the pickle right there. Thank you so much, One Rovers Vlogs. Need to have the right balance. Can't afford to try new cocktails. I think Matty is referring to maybe the younger players coming in and starting. Hell no, start Nketiah instead. Let's see what happens. Richard says bench him. Dangerous D says bench. What's the problem? Nuno in for KC, Lokonga for KT, Lokonga for Partey, start, play. When KT was injured last time, we wanted Nuno to start. 100% yo cool. Yep, definitely. A little people listening a little behind the curve here, but making their comments on KT and Nuno as well. Show some guts and play Martinelli there. He will be rested for Martinelli, play Martinelli up front. Arteta left this squad water thin when we had a great chance to get into the Champions League. That is unforgivable. He thought that we could see the season out with Lacazette and Nketiah. Polymation says Lacazette gets benched. It's time to start something different, says GD. Tova, bench Lacazette. Rested on the bench, says Tammy. Lacazette has to start. He's tired. Play ESR up front. What? I think you mean don't start, right? Anyway, David says bench Lacazette. See how Gabby does. We haven't, let's see, rested Mr. Waffles? No, bench Lacazette for the rest of the season. Ruthlessness. Winston, Lacazette should start. He can rest in 9 games. Craig says, no, Lacazette lacks everything. He should be benched. I'll put Martinelli there. You know, a little bit like when Xhaka was out injured, and a lot of Arsenal fans were like, it doesn't matter who's playing well or what's going on. The minute Xhaka's back, Arteta's going to play him, right? And I just think there's certain players, a little bit like international squads or teams. You know, Pepe's still playing for the Portuguese national team. Gareth Southgate's going to stick with Harry Maguire, whether he's crap or not for Manchester United. I think Lacazette is going to start this game. I don't think Arteta's going to take those kinds of risks right off the bat. I think he'll shift things in the second half if they're not working. But I just can't see him not starting the captain. Demsek says Lacazette seems to have lost his hunger to link the team. I don't think it's a lack of hunger. I just think it's a lack of energy. Here's what worries me, you guys. We're not even in Europe. Think about that. Players are tired. We've been out of the cups for how long now? We've had like a week and 10 days at points in between league games. How are they tired? Seriously, how is Lacazette tired? I don't understand it. No excuses. None. He's the captain. He's got to find a way. He's got to grind it out. Yes, you heard me, Lacazette. You got to find a way. This team needs you now more than ever. And I think Arteta will start him. All right, let's get some more of your comments. Time to give the Phenom a chance. Antenna's done with Lacazette. If he starts, I'll be Arteta out. Don't want to see Lacazette. I think he trusts him. Neil, Lacazette threat? From having games in hand, every game has now become a must-win. True say, true that. Virginia, whether he scores or not, that's a different matter, as Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka and Martinelli provide the goals. The problem with what he does in the team when he doesn't score, Virginia, is he hasn't been doing it in the last couple of games. That's the problem. George says, Lacazette starts, we don't have anyone better. Tova thinks Maguire is crap. We lost one game. His hold-up play enabled us to get here. Yeah, I wouldn't make that move yet. I would make that move with like 65 minutes to go and swap things around. I'd throw Nuno back in, frying pan fire. Lokonga plays with Xhaka in the midfield. And I would have Gabby on the left. I'd put Emile Smith-Rowe on the bench. Saka on the right, Odegaard, Lacazette up front, and if it's not working, we can't get a goal, 65 minutes, make the change. Gooner Russ, we've lost one game after a good run. And we're still in it. With the youngest team in the league. Right. Keep those answers coming. The Lacazette one is a little bit polarizing because some fans see the value that he brings even if he doesn't score goals. I'm of the ilk at this point of if he can't do that, he gets one more chance against a Brighton team that is horrific at the back. If he can't score against Brighton, then there's no excuse going forward for Arteta to, you know, to stick with him. So, you know, we shall see what happens. You know, Bissouma can boss the midfield as much as he wants. Is he fit? I think so. But Brighton have been horrible. Can't be bossing it that much if the defence has been that exposed. This obsession with Bissouma hasn't been that great this season. He's got his off-the-field problems too. So we'll see. Let's play video number 3 from Super Kev. Keep the Lacazette comments coming. Put your 11 in. After this next video, we'll do your total 11. Right. Here is Super Kev's question number 3. Because it goes to what I'm asking you to do. Here we go.
Bonus question number 3. If you were the manager, what would you do with the team? What would you do? It'll be interesting to hear what you squaddies would do with the team. If you'd do anything, just tell me your thoughts in the chat. What would you do? Would you concentrate more on attack? Would you concentrate on defense? What would you do? Would you change it? Would you not? Let's see how you think, squaddies. Your manager in the professional game. Let's see how you go. So, let me recap. Number 1, does Nuno Tavares start the game? 2, does Laka start or is Laka rested? Number 2. And number 3, if you, squaddies, were the manager, what would you do with this Arsenal side? So, listen, I'm not there to block any of you up. As you can see, I'm out about and I'm going to be traveling. So, look after yourselves, everybody. Sophie, please let me know if any of them are not behaving themselves. Rock up them, blow. Anyway, look after yourself. Take good care, squaddies. And I miss you all. Love you too. Even the nutty ones. Look after yourself. All the best. Kev says. Goodbye. Let's go!
Oh, I miss him. Come on. Just for Kev. Do it. Otherwise, I'm going to squeal on every single last one of you. Smash it. He'll be here tomorrow. He'll deal with you. Monday he'll properly deal with you. All right, let's get to some of your answers. If classic, of course. If I was the manager, I'd resign. Spank them with paddles. Laughing, suggesting Martinelli or ESR as a number 9. I mean, Kev doesn't feel like when Pepe were calling for when fans were calling for Pepe to play in that position, Leon, Kev was like, they don't know how to handle centre-backs in the Premier League in that position. Matty K wants good old-fashioned Kev back. Everton could use him. He saved them from relegation once. My goodness. His old team that he captained could use him right now. Everyone's an expert. I don't think so. Just opinions, Trevor, just opinions. Maybe change the system to stop relying on Lacazette up front is what Virginia would do. Boys 11 is Ramsdale, Cedric, Gabriel, White, Saka, Lokonga, Xhaka, ESR, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Nketiah. We play to win 4-5-1. Lacazette has to play or Dunk will dominate anyone else. According to Josh, Dunk is the only capable defender at Brighton this season, and he's watched them play a lot. Rocky says if he was manager, he'd play Eddie instead of Lacazette. Gooner Russ says Nuno starts in a 5-man midfield, not as a left back in a back 4. Lewis says Nuno starts, Lacazette starts, 65 minutes, move Saka to left back, bring on Pepe, Eddie, and Emile Smith-Rowe. I'm not adverse to that. Polymation, Super Kev, I don't make millions to make those decisions. That's Mikel's job. Oh, but you're missing out on the fun. Come on. I wouldn't concentrate on the attack. We need to score more goals, says Goodmandur. Great Gooner Chapman says, I'd be attack-minded. Let's get some goals and thrash them. Goal difference could be important. No one's brought this up. Goal difference. Tottenham's 5 goals against Newcastle. Woo. Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt us. A little bit of some water. It's 91 in Southern California today. It is so hot right now and I've got the doors closed. It's crazy. 200 of you in live chat. Let us know. If you were manager, what would you do? What does your starting 11 look like, kids? Here we go. Amira says, if I were Arteta, I'd lace up and start myself in midfield. 10 years to the day, Amira. He scored that wonderful goal against Manchester City at the Emirates. And everyone thought City were going to go on to lose the title. Just like everyone thought we were going to go on to win the title when Danny Welbeck scored that incredible header against Leicester City. Goran Taylor says, Ramsdale, Tavares, Gabriel, White, Cedric. You could see it all here. 4-3-3 with Odegaard playing a slightly less advanced role to normal. He is an absolute legend. Nick says, if we don't start progressing soon and getting Champions League football, then say goodbye to Saka. I said this on the show last night. This will be our biggest crime. A bigger crime than not building on the Sanchez, Santi, Ozil time period and getting a defensive midfielder, world-class centre-backs. You know, forget letting players go that we let go, but not building on those 3. This will be a bigger, more massive crime of the century than that. Because they go off and they hang out with Foden and Grealish and Trent Alexander-Arnold when they're for England, winning stuff, showing their shiny medals. It's okay winning the FA Cup, but eventually plays like this, they want to win big. Nuno in for KT, Sambi in for Partey. Well, those are Winston. That's not even a choice, is it? Someone's got to go in for them. 3-5-2. I thought you just gave a different formation. No, you said that, yeah. Russ. KC with the Jamaican accent is the best. Casey's been lazy this week not turning up. He's out there grinding. He's working hard. My hair's starting to go crazy from the heat. Super Kev, absolutely. Backing him doesn't mean I want him to play. Our system is just too reliant on him. Gooner Colt says, Rambo, Cedric, Gabriel holding White. You can see it all here. This will never happen. No, Pepe will never happen. Mark would drop Lacazette and play Martinelli through the middle. If we play 4 at the back, Brighton will win 2-0 and Lamptey and Cucurella will run us ragged. Josh was talking about Cucurella playing out of position a little bit yesterday, wasn't he, guys? And, you know, when you see him as maybe a last line of defence in some instances, then there's things to look forward to. Ugo Chukwu says, as the manager, I'd adjust the tactics to help with the players we are missing, but not too much so to destabilise the team and chemistry. Too much change won't be good. Change at this point in the season is very difficult. Tovar says he'd copy Klopp and convince each player in a personal talk that they're bigger than Messi, and I'd explain to them how much the team depends on their individual contributions. Wow. Bigger than Messi. That's huge. Maybe bigger than Messi at PSG. That's possible. Yokel says we have to make some changes up front. Martinelli plays, so when other teams will play against us, they'll have something to think about. Like City and Liverpool, they can put Salah or Jota. But think about who those players are surrounded by as well. I think if you start putting square pegs in round holes a little bit, you're setting players up to fail. So let's say Martinelli plays up front. Are Arsenal fans going to poo-poo him afterwards? Is he going to get ripped? We played Balogun against Brentford in the first game of the season, granted with a weakened squad, but Balogun saw one more game after that. Martinelli played on the left. Took a while for him to get back into the side after that. And yes, after he got injured too, but Lacazette's not becoming the new Oba. No, I disagree with that completely. Lacazette has been much more productive. He's been more of a leader. The team has looked to him, and he's actually helped us many times in many games. There's a reason we scored 21 goals in December. Lacazette's hold-up play. Virginia mentioned it earlier. I think sometimes we underappreciate how he's helped us get here. Another one who wants to go 3-5-2. It's not a cocktail, I promise you. I wish it was. I'm on a cleanse before my European trip. I'm making room. This is day 7 without any alcohol. I didn't even have a drink after we lost to Crystal Palace. Can you believe that? I was very impressed with myself, if I may say so. Pat on the back from moi. Did not resort to the bottle. Did not go for the jug. Nope, not me. Neil says, I'd filled my play. My squad to their strengths. Not to play them out. Yes. Basically play everyone in their position or as close to their position as possible. Yes. I chopped my hair off and everyone's been asking about the hat. So don't worry. The hats will be back. In the summer, I'm going to shave all the sides off. Yes or no to shaving all the sides off before I come to England. That way no one will mess with me on the tube. All right, let's see. What else have we got here? So if Kev's take that Martinelli can't be a 9 is nonsense. He can't be a false 9 like Laka, but he's made to be a true 9. That's a system change, but with players like Emile Smith-Rowe and Odegaard, 9 makes more sense. I hear you. I will let Kev know. I'll read that out to him. Universal Greek, I have not had alcohol since the 1st of January 2015. Wow, good for you. Actually, I'm kind of like thinking about, I haven't missed it, to be honest with you. Nope. I sleep better, for sure. I've slept better in the last 7 days than I have in a long time. Matty K hasn't had booze since New Year's Eve. That's because you had a crazy New Year's Eve. I probably wouldn't have either. Mark said he hit the bourbon and it's all Arteta's fault. That's funny. Dublin Gooner says, I haven't stopped drinking since the Palace game. To be 57 days. I think drinking every day. I think the pandemic got us all good. Yeah, it might end tomorrow. It's not about your hair, Soph, your hat game. It's just that good. Mr. Waffles. Yeah, don't worry. We got more hats up our sleeve for sure. No drink? Are you serious? Please don't do that. I'm sure I'm going to have a few when I'm in England. Can you imagine going to the Tollington and ordering an orange juice? Don't think that's going to work out for me, is it? Big up Beth Mead scoring 4 goals tonight for England's women's team. Yes, 10-0. Crikey. Some of the federations need to catch up. Tammy, I need alcohol to watch the Arsenal. I sleep well after 12 pints of Guinness at the 12 pins. Is that right, Russ? Yes, 100%. Here's a joke for everyone. Which football team loves ice cream? Aston Vanilla. I tell you, Taib, that deserves a yellow card in itself. Hugh had some booze at lunch. Watching Arsenal would drive me to drink sometimes, but I'm staying the course and staying sober. Well done, Neil. Everyone does what's good for them, for sure. And Universal Greek, Newman is driving me to drink. Brilliant stuff. Well, look, tomorrow, what do you guys think? What are your predictions? We've talked 3-5-2. We've talked sticking with our guns and playing the 4-3-3. You know, we've talked about Saka at left back. We've talked about Nuno has to start. You've got to trust him. You've got to trust Sambi. These players were bought for a reason as backups. Kev's asked you about what you would do. Keep those comments coming in. Be sure if you're watching this on replay to let us know in the YouTube comments as well. I mean, these guys, we've lost Partey. You know, Gabriel needs to step up and have a better game than he did. You know, we're missing Tommy, of course, but let's be fair, let's be true, and let's be honest that Cedric has stepped in and done an absolutely stellar job in his absence. These two guys together are going to have a much better game than they did. Odegaard, another player. Everyone was so poor against Palace. Time to step up. Emile Smith-Rowe, I think, could go back to being that guy on the bench who comes on, who can help grab a goal, change a game if it gets to that point. Will this guy even get a chance if things aren't going well tomorrow? I think they will. I think we're going to put ourselves in a position. We're going to be on the front foot. Saka's going to have a massive part to play in this as well. Of course, losing this partnership is not the best. But at the same time, you know, we have to get behind, support, trust the players who can come in and do a good job. And hopefully, Sambi, you can shush some of the critics who are expecting the worst. You were a leader at Anderlecht. Look at you, captain's armband, made captain by Vincent Kompany. We've got to trust our young players and we've got to get behind them. So let's get your scores in. 3-0 we go here. Pepe up front as part of a 2. We're doing predictions now. 2-1. Lose? Oh, come on. 3-1. We got 3-1 here. 1-0 Brighton. Okay. You've just been pushing buttons this week. So you need to come back with a different attitude next week, Taib, or after the post-game show tomorrow. If we win, by the way, I'd like to know where you and Newman have been post-game shows when we've won. Cedric is redeeming himself 100%. 2-0. Nuno scores. That would be absolutely unbelievable. 2-1 says Tovar. 3-0. Lovely jubbly. 2-0 says Mikey. Let's see. 3-1 says Fluid. 2-0 here. I think most people are feeling confident. I tell you, if we can't beat Brighton, it's over. It's not over, but it's going to be close to being over. That's for sure. Craig has a draw. 3-0 says Elliot. 2-0. 3-1. 1-0. 3-0. 2-0. A win and a clean sheet says Virginia. 2-0 says Brady's Banana. 0-0. Wow. I can't see that. 1-0. 1-0. Well done, Newman. At least you've... 3-0. 2-0. 2-1. 1-0. All right. Generally positive, people. Lynn was reading today, Arteta was saying that he was thinking of playing his unforgotten man. So for me, it is Tommy. 8-2. Cheeky bugger. 3-1. 0-0. Really? Russ, you think it's going to be 0-0 against Brighton for real? I'm shook. I'm shook on that one. Let's see, what else did we have on the agenda? Footballprizes.co.uk, new auctions every single week. We'll have one for you on Monday. Don't forget the post-game show tomorrow. Win, lose or draw, the Highbury squad will be here with you. Hope you enjoyed a bit of a different version of Kevin Says. He is travelling, but he will be back tomorrow, and we'll be back with Monday Madness, of course, talking about the weekend and all of the football action. Let's get behind the team. Let's hope for a win, no matter what. Come on. I'm feeling it. I'm going for a... What did I say yesterday? I don't think I predicted yet. Do you know what? I'm going to go for 4-1. I don't know where they're going to score from, but I'm going to go for a 4-1. Martinelli gets 2 goals, Lacazette gets 1, and Gabriel scores from a set piece. How about that? All right. Hope you've enjoyed the shows this week. If you missed any of them, go to our YouTube channel, check them out. We've got some great guests, some exciting stuff coming up, some bits and bobs when I'm going to be in London as well. Excited about that. Excited to meet a lot of you before the games, after the games. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. We're having a good time, having a good time. Until tomorrow, go to sleep, have a good rest, be positive, and we live to see another Arsenal day that hopefully is filled with 3 points. And if we don't, then we'll have a talk about it after the game tomorrow. This is a game we cannot afford to lose. Until then, squaddies, at ease. I love every single one of you. Thanks for hanging out with me on the solo shows this week as well. It means a lot. If you can please hit the like button on your way out, we'd greatly appreciate it. Good night.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.